There's no magic fairy who's gonna ride in and, sprinkle some fairy dust on you and go, boom, you've met your soulmate. When you can accept that that is never going to happen, you're gonna start taking initiative. And you're gonna finally take the reins, take control of your dating life. Okay. Man, it has been a while since I posted my last video, and I want you to know this has been for a reason. I've been working on some big things for Raw Dating Advice, and you'll learn more about this stuff in the future. But as my way of apologizing for the lack of content production in the last couple of weeks, I want to tell you how you can get free coaching with me, an actual live free coaching call with me, and I'll tell you more about how to do that at the end of this video. Before we get started, obviously this video is 10 things I wish I knew about women before the age of 21. Now, obviously, my name is Patrick James. I have a channel, it's called Raw Dating Advice. I have thousands of students and success stories in 83 different countries around the world of me teaching guys how to meet, attract, and date the women that they want. And when I was 21 years old, I was not that guy. I want you to understand that, right? At the age of 21, that's when I lost my virginity. So I was a 21-year-old virgin, and at the time, I had no clue how to flirt with women. I didn't even know what flirting actually was. I just knew it was a word that couples did, right? And I was pretty shy and hopeless when it came to getting girls. In fact, I got friend zoned by almost every single girl that I liked at the time. So the reason I tell you that is because I want you to know that I'm about to turn 29. So the content in this video, what I'm about to tell you, is literally 8 years of wisdom boiled down to the 10 things that I wish I knew when I was that version of myself. So no matter what age you are right now, you're gonna find benefit in this. So the first thing I wish I knew about women at the age of 21 is that they make their decisions based on emotion, which is very different than us men. A lot of times us guys, or just masculine energy in general, we're very forward thinking. We're very logical. We're very linear. We want things cut and dry, and we want to know exactly how to do things. And we want to have like to-do lists and things that we want everything planned out, right? Women, on the other hand, are the exact opposite. They make their decisions based on how they feel in the moment. They make their decisions based off of emotion, right? And this is gonna be a very important thing for you to understand moving forward, especially with the rest of the 9 things I'm about to teach you in this video, because once you understand this, it's gonna lay down the groundwork to understand how to attract the women that you actually want. Which brings me into number 2. You won't know what you want in a woman until you've experienced what you don't want. All right, I'll say that again. You don't know consciously what you want in a girl, in a relationship, or just anything in general when it comes to your dating life. You don't know what you want until you've experienced what you don't want. And I'll tell you why I say that. Because at the age of 21, probably even until the age of 23, I thought I knew what my type was. I thought I knew exactly what I wanted in a girl that I was going to date. However, as I started to improve myself, as I started to improve my game with women and get better at attracting more women, especially right when meeting them cold anywhere in the world, when I got good at that and I started dating a lot of different types of women, I started dating the types of girls that I thought I wanted. And then when I'd actually hang out with them, I realized that their personality kind of sucked. A lot of times I would date a girl who I thought was traditionally hot. She had the outward symbols of status. She was very popular among her friends. And anytime she had walked into a room, she would literally turn the heads of the guys that she walked by. However, when I started hanging out with her, some of these girls, I realized there wasn't a whole lot of depth to their personality. They weren't into personal development like I was. They didn't work out as much as I did. They ate junk food all the damn time, right? And I started to realize, well, shit, what I want goes a lot deeper than just looks and outward symbols that I can see, right? And you have to experience what you don't want before you actually know what you want in a woman. So if you're 65 or 25 or 21, doesn't matter what age you are, if you don't have a whole lot of experience with women, one of the priorities on your list of things to do should be to go out and get more experience with women so you can actually narrow down what you don't want. And at that time, when you've improved yourself so much, now you can choose the girl you want from a place of abundance rather than just settling for the one girl that happens to like you back like 99% of guys do. Which brings me into number 3. If you ask a girl what she wants in a guy, she will never be able to verbally tell you. And this goes back to the first thing I told you. Women are basing their decisions in the moment, the actions that they take, based off of how they feel in the moment, their emotional state. Right? And so if you ask a girl what she wants in a guy, she might tell you things like, oh, a tall, dark, and handsome guy, he's got to have money, or, I want a guy who can make me laugh. these traditional things that women tend to say. But what you're doing is you're asking her to go back in her head and logically compile what she's attracted to and verbalize it for you. And once again, the entire seduction process, forget about just how women make their decisions and what their actions are, right? A lot of times the seduction process as a whole is not linear, right? It's not linear, it's not logical, and I need you to understand that, because if you're basing how you're flirting with women and seducing women and going after women, right? If you're basing your game off of what you've heard women say, then you're setting yourself up for failure. I mean, just think about it. How many times have you seen a girl complain about a guy? He's such a player, he's such a douchebag, but then ends up hooking up with that guy that night or a couple days later. Or maybe a girl is always complaining about her boyfriend who she's always fighting with, right? And maybe she's even coming to tears because her boyfriend just did something so tragic, but she ends up staying with him, and you're like, woman, why are you still with that guy, right? Again, you're a logical thinking person. You're a man, right? That's how we think. And women, they're doing things based off of emotion. So that guy she's always complaining about, he's fulfilling other needs for her that she actually wants. So don't listen and don't trust the words that she says, trust the actions that she takes. Which brings me into number 4. Women are always gonna want you to take the lead. And when I say women, I want you to understand that I'm talking about feminine energy and masculine energy. And if you want to know more about the feminine and masculine energies and the differences between them, highly recommend checking out The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida. Great book, and it's all about masculine, feminine energy and how they relate to each other. But one of the things that you got to understand is that if you're waiting for her to take the lead, if you're waiting for her to move this interaction forward or take the initiative or make that first move, again, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because think about it, if you're on a date and let's go back to the classic Hollywood example, and you're standing at her doorstep, dropping her off at the end of the date, she's fidgeting with her keys and she's going, yeah, so, and you're looking for signs that she wants you to kiss her, you've already lost the game, right? You need to take the lead. You need to take initiative because she is feminine. The feminine energy is waiting for you to take initiative, and she wants to naturally just follow your lead. Because think about it. If you're the decisive guy who can take initiative and take the lead, what does that imply about you? It implies, and whether or not this is true or not, implies that you have experience with this area of your life. And if you have experience with this area of your life and you know how to take the initiative and you're not afraid to take the lead, then you probably have gotten with women in the past and other women are attracted to you. And if other women are attracted to you, then you must be an attractive man and you're probably not a creeper. Therefore, it's gonna subconsciously tell her that you're the type of guy that she needs in her life. All right, which brings me to the next one. The law of emotional transfer. Now, I did not coin that term. I don't know who originally coined that term, and I don't even think it really matters as long as you understand what it is. Because I just showed you why it's important to take the lead, but just know that your emotional state is going to rub off on her, right? So if you're stressed out and you're nervous and you're fidgeting around and you're uncomfortable and you're shy, that emotional state is going to rub off on her. She's gonna feel that, and it's gonna feed her emotional state. And if that's feeding her emotional state and that's how she's feeling in the moment too, do you think this is gonna be a very successful interaction for you? Absolutely not. So if you wanna take this to a practical example, right? The law of emotional transfer, if you want a girl to be comfortable around you, then you have to make yourself comfortable first, right? If you want a girl to be turned on around you, you have to be turned on around her first, right? And a lot of times guys can't get turned on around a girl because they simply are too much in their head. They're thinking, what's the next step? What do I do now? Is that a sign of attraction? Get out of your own head, get into the moment, and start relaxing, being more comfortable, getting turned on by her, being more present around her. And I promise you, if you can actually just control your own emotional state, it's going to drastically improve your results. Which brings me into number 6. But before we get to number 6, I want to talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is howtogetthegirlnow.com. And howtogetthegirlnow.com is where you can get my best-selling book, 107 Proven Ways to Get the Girl. Now, in this book, I'm gonna show you every single 107 proven way that I know to spark attraction with a girl. Whether this is a girl who maybe you've been in her friend zone in the past and you just need that spark, that attraction to flip the script on her. Or maybe this is a girl that you just met. How do you spark attraction when you first meet her? That way you're starting things off on the right foot. I'm gonna teach you every way I know how to do that in this book, and I wanna give you this book for free. Just go to howtogetthegirlnow.com. Now let's move on to number 6. So number 6, if you're in a girl's friend zone, I want you to understand it is not her fault. It is not her fault that she decided to be friends with you. It is 100% your fault. And even if logically, maybe it is her fault, I want you to stop playing the victim in your life, right? So we're gonna start taking responsibility for the circumstances that we have in our life. Because when we take responsibility, then we can start looking at what we can actually control and course correct along the way. So 100%, if you're in the friend zone, it's your fault. Now here's why. There's a lot of different reasons why a girl may put you in her friend zone, but the number one reason why I see girls putting guys in friend zones is something that I call the logical connection theory. Logical connection theory. Now we've already talked about how women make their decisions and act based off of how they feel in the moment, based off of their emotion. But a lot of times when a guy first meets a girl, or if he goes on a date with a girl, right? A lot of times he's going, okay, this is a hot girl. I like her. I want to date her, I want to have sex with her. And so logically he goes, how do I do that? Well, I got to show her that we're perfect for each other. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to try to find everything in conversation that we can connect on, that we can relate on, things that we have in common. And when you're doing this right off the bat, you're trying to logic her into liking you. And once again, it's not going to work, because she makes her decisions based off of emotion, right? And so let's just think about this on the flip side. Who else in your life do you logically try to connect with and relate on and find things that you have in common with when you first start hanging out with them or the first time you meet them? Obviously, it's people that you become friends with, maybe coworkers or just friends in general, right? And so if that's how you treat people that you want to be friends with when you first meet them, if that's also the way you're treating the women when you first meet them or hang out with them or have a good conversation with them, you're putting yourself in the friend zone. And that's why a lot of times if you're in a girl's friend zone and you confront her about it, she's often confused and gets defensive, because she's like, dude, I thought we were friends. I thought you just wanted to be friends, right? It's your fault. And once you start taking responsibility for it, then we can actually improve upon your results, which brings me into number 7. When you look at the entire seduction process as a whole, like I mentioned, it's not always linear. It's not always going to be do this, do this, do this, do this, right? However, there are some general course corrections that you can make that are in general almost always going to give you more success in the future. And one of those is literally, if you are falling for logical connection theory right now, literally do that after you've sparked attraction. In other words, you have to spark attraction first before you start connecting with her. Why? Because when you start connecting with her and she's not attracted to you, you're not on her sexual radar yet. You're not a potential mate for her yet. But when you can build that connection on a foundation of already established attraction between you guys, that's when you guys can move this conversation, this interaction, this seduction forward. So in general, just know that when you first meet a girl or when you're first on a date with a girl, you have to spark attraction first and then build a connection on that foundation of attraction. And if you want to learn how to spark attraction, just go watch any of my other videos on this exact topic. In fact, I'll put a few of those videos in the description below this video. Number 8, a lot of times guys think women are attracted to money and outward symbols of status, fancy cars, fancy private jets, things that show that you have a lot of money. And I'm telling you this right now, when I was 21, I thought the same thing. And I'm telling you from personal experience, women are not attracted to money, they are attracted to ambition. Right? Because if you're the type of guy who's ambitious and you go after what you want and you have a purpose in your life and you have something you're always working towards, a lot of times that's going to result in you getting things like money. And you might see a guy who's rich, who actually has a lot of money, and he's surrounded by hot girls. And it's not because he has the outward symbols of money. It's not because he has green paper, because paper inherently doesn't have any value, right? Especially to her. To her, she's attracted to the guy who's ambitious enough to go out and get that type of money, right? So for you, the practical takeaway here is stop trying to buy girls drinks, pay for dinner, send flowers to their work just to show that you're willing to invest money into winning over her attraction for you. It's not gonna work, because once again, that's trying to logic her into liking you, and that's a strategy for failure. So what I want you to do is start asking yourself, what is your purpose in life? What are you working towards? And it can't be women. It can be improving your game with women, but it can't be a specific girl, right? You need to have ambition. You need to have a purpose that you're working towards right now, and you gotta prioritize that above any girl who crosses your path. Number 9, women love sex. When I was 21, when I was a virgin, when I didn't have a lot of experience with women, I thought to myself, well, if a girl is always gonna friend zone me, and if these girls are not having sex with me, then women just must not be sexual creatures. They must not like sex as much as I do or as much as men do. And I'm telling you what, that is completely false, because just think about it. What happens when a girl has sex? She's moaning really loud. She's screaming on some occasions, and she's having multiple orgasms. And I'm just gonna ask you right now, if you could have multiple orgasms or orgasms that lasted longer than just a few seconds, wouldn't you love sex even more than you already do? Obviously, right? Women love sex. And the second you can start treating women from the frame of, I know you love sex as much as I do, probably more, that's when you're gonna start having more sex with women. Because even if you get everything that in this video correct, and you take action on everything you've ever learned from me, if you still believe that women don't like sex, then do you really think if your emotions and your emotional state is rubbing off on her, if you really think that she's not sexual and you're treating her like she's not gonna have sex with you, do you think she's gonna have sex with you? No. And this doesn't just happen for sex, right? And I don't want you to think that I'm always just the guy who just wants to get laid and have sex with a bunch of women. No, my only goal as your coach is to teach you how to develop an abundance of women. That way, when you do settle down with your one ride or die chick, you can choose her from a place of abundance. And I want you to know that if you can just start adopting these right mind frames, these right mindsets from the very start, it's going to work out for you in the end. Which brings me to the 10th and final thing I wish I knew at the age of 21 about women. There is no one. There is no one. There is no perfect girl for you. You don't have a soulmate. You have varying levels of compatibility with different women in different areas of the world. All right? And this goes for women with men too. There is no one. Now, maybe in some philosophical way, and God probably has a reason and a purpose for you, right? However, if you can start understanding the fact that you're gonna go out and create your own destiny. If there's a girl who you wanna be with, you're gonna improve yourself enough so that way you're worthy of being with that girl, right? So when you can start understanding that there is no one, there's no magic fairy who's gonna ride it in and sprinkle some fairy dust on you and go, boom, you've met your soulmate. When you can accept that that is never going to happen, you're not gonna be waiting around for women to maybe coming into your life. You're not gonna get a crush on your coworker and creep her out by stalking her on Facebook every night, right? You're gonna start taking initiative. You're gonna see a girl that you find attractive and you're gonna go, she looks interesting, I wanna go up and talk to her. And then you're gonna fucking go and you're gonna start taking initiative in your life, and you're gonna finally take the reins and take control of your dating life, right? And for you to do that, you gotta drop this idea of your perfect girl out there who's already waiting for you to meet her. You gotta drop the idea that you have a soulmate and she's right around you, all right? When you can start accepting the fact that you're gonna have to get off your lazy ass and take initiative and find a girl that you find attractive and go out and then actually initiate the conversation with her and move it forward and lead this thing forward, then that's when you're gonna start seeing success. So, like I said, at the end of the video, I was gonna teach you how you can get a free coaching call with me. Now, if you don't already know, if you're not on the email list, then dude, you need to get on the email list. But we just launched a program called Legendary Game. Now, Legendary Game is something where I literally took the process that I use with all of my one-on-one clients, the guys who invest $20K a year just to get one-on-one phone coaching with me. I took the same process that I take all my private clients through, and I put it into an actionable program. Now, here's the thing. The problem with programs in the past is the fact that a lot of times there's so much information out there and the program throws a lot of information at you and you have to assimilate the information and figure out what are your action steps. And a lot of times guys never see any real success with women because they get overwhelmed, they feel confused, they get discouraged, and they give up before any real world results start happening in their life. And I don't want that for you, which is why I created Legendary Game. In Legendary Game, I'm gonna give you the same process that I take all my private clients through, and I'm gonna give you new action steps and new training to go along with those action steps every week of every month for an entire year. All right, for an entire year, every week of every month for an entire year, 12 months. And I'm only accepting 150 guys into this program. So if you want free coaching with me, I'm giving a free group coaching call to all the guys who join Legendary Game before we run out of spots. So if you want free coaching with me and you want the exact step-by-step blueprint to improving your game with women, no matter what age you are, no matter where you live in the world, then all you gotta do is go to legendarygamesystem.com or the link in the description, legendarygamesystem.com, and join Legendary Game right now before we run out of spots. On that note, I'm gonna get out of here, man. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.